Welcome to the Dad Bod Podcast with Corey. I'm your host, Corey. Thank you very much for joining me. Like I said, I'm trying to get these out back to my regularness I was before contracting COVID. So I believe today, today's Wednesday. So I believe today is like day 85. I noticed something was wrong January 26th. Tested positive January 28th. I'm on like day like 85, 86. I'm coming up on 90 days of active COVID symptoms. I'm a COVID long hauler, so April 28th will be 90 days, which at that point then I can go ahead and book my COVID vaccine appointment, which I'm excited to do, to get the first round out of the way. So for those that can see, I have some KT tape on my left hand. I kind of slept wrong a couple of nights ago. It really just feels like a strain on my the muscle under sort of the palm side of my left pinky under the knuckle. I can't really extend my hand. Just one thing after another. I'm just frustrated. I don't expect anybody to notice because they're not important enough. I really have spent this week off of social media, and I'm not one of those people. Like if I leave, and I've done this before, like if I leave social media, I just leave. It's the same way I am in real life. Like if you're throwing a party, for lack of a better term, and I go to leave a party, like if you're near me, I will say bye, but I'm not one of those people that's like, bye. Like I just kind of leave. Just kind of leave in the cut. Not really a big deal. And so if I leave social media, I just kind of leave. And then when I come back, I just kind of come back. I don't make a big deal about it. I don't see the point. I'm not that important. I don't require the attention. It's just not my personality. And so I'm just out this week. Just been hard. And it seems like when you're a COVID long hauler, I think in your mind, you expect symptoms to get better as the time goes on, and they don't. And you spend a lot of time here instead of, I think the average person thinks like with most, like it's a cold or something else that you're going to do this, and you don't. Doctors understand it, and not in a mean way, and not in a, catch my breath, not in a facetious way, but like, one of the things the doctors say to me, my team of doctors, so they're like, this all seems like a long time to you. Meaning, I tell how many days it's been, but they're like, you're in the beginning of this. And to the average person, saying 90 days or 80 something days is a long time. But in the long term, this is going to be like 6 months or more. There's no time frame. This is going to be a long time. So to get emotionally bogged down or stressed about it being 90 days is a recipe for disaster. And it's only going to make life incredibly worse for me. So that's kind of where I am. And because of that, it makes it, catch my breath, exponentially difficult to have conversations with people about this. People who've never had COVID, or people who've had mild symptoms of COVID, have amazing, I'm being sarcastic, let me be clear, have amazing medical advice on what I should do. And so I don't, as the younger generation says, clap back. And I would clap, but again, my hand, it's really swollen right here and it hurts, so I'm not going to. I don't clap back, and I just sort of retreat to myself. And so that's what I do. And everyone's, oh, you need to do this, you need to try this method, ask your doctor about this. And I was talking about COVID brain fog had been really bad. And again, for someone that's a detailed oriented strategic person like myself, and in the family, I'm the detail-oriented person. COVID brain fog is really a difficult symptom. Very difficult, because people always be like, oh, what's the most difficult thing? And I'm like, I don't understand why I have to rate my COVID symptoms. Like this is the weekend top 40, and I got to rank them in order. They all suck. They're all fucking horrible, and they're all individually on their own life altering. And you put them all together, they're all life altering. They're just not. If one were to stop, it's not like my life is that much better. They're all still, the rest are still there. So they suck. If I didn't have COVID brain fog, I'm still on 4 liters of oxygen, as you all who are watching this can see. And I'm trying to use a different sound thing, so you still shouldn't be able to hear my concentrated the oxygen thing, but you can hear me having to stop to breathe more and more, as opposed to prior podcasts. So it's not like, oh my goodness, I don't have COVID brain fog, but damn, I can't do anything because I'm breathing heavy, and et cetera, et cetera. So COVID brain fog has really just been kicking my ass, and it's frustrating, and it's hard, and I've described it before. It's like I said, you're reading something and you get to a certain word, whether it's in the middle or it's in the beginning or it's the last word, and it just fades. Star Trek, OG Star Trek just fades away. And you know the word and it's gone, or phrase or sentence, and it's gone, and it's frustrating. So it's just been a difficult couple of weeks, and that it's part of the other frustration. It's always a difficult couple of weeks, and everyone's like, oh, you must be doing better. I'm like, no, I'm not. So that becomes difficult unto itself to express. I'm gonna do a couple of more of my video diaries of the documentary I'm working on of my experience with COVID, and then I'm going to start the editing process on the film. Like I said, when I started this was just going to be my experience with COVID, because I thought it was going to be like everyone else's COVID experience. A couple of weeks, a couple of days of fever and some symptoms and blah, blah, blah. I didn't know it was going to be this long. I had, I don't know, discovered or found or tripped upon proverbially a show on our AT&T Now app. And I was like, man, why did I never finish watching this? Because Damar and I watched it every week, and we obviously stopped after I got COVID, and I'm going back and I'm getting caught up, but I'm like, it's just one of those things, like there's I've lost chunks of my immediate life, and as this goes on, I had this conversation, I was talking about this to someone, and I can't remember who, ironically, is I get reminded of conversations, whether face-to-face, verbal, or text, or direct message, whatever, social media, I don't remember. And it's not like it's one of those, oh, I kind of remember this, or, the gist of it rings a bell. I flat out have no recollection, and I will go back and see, in the case of it being a text message, I'm like, I don't remember this conversation at all. And these are conversations I instigated. And it's not like it's like a drunk thing where you're like, oh my goodness, I'm so embarrassed. It's just, I don't remember. It's a flat out conversation, but I don't remember it at all. And it's to the point where I'm like, it scares me. It bothers me. There's drives home that I'm like, I don't remember at all. And I'm used to the autopilot part of me, where I'm like, I know I'm getting, I don't remember the drive home, but I know home was where I needed to get to. I'll freak out because I'm like, I don't know where I'm going right now. And I'll have people say, I've had more than one, and this is one of the reasons I just remove myself from social media. I've had more than one person say to me, well, have you talked to your doctor about this? Is there something you can take for it? reality check. If there was a one pill we could take for memory reconnection, don't you fucking think anyone who has ever had to watch a loved one go through Alzheimer's, dementia, anything like that, and I've had more than one loved person go through it, we would get it for that loved one in a heartbeat. We would all get that today. But again, everyone is a doctor because, you know, we saw some shit, you know, because WebMD is great. Like, WebMD is the Wikipedia of the medical world. You know, so it's hard to talk about what I'm feeling. And at the same time, I recognize the fact that I don't want to bring anybody down. I don't want to bring anyone's positivity down. So I keep it all to myself. That includes my wife. That includes my kids. I'm exhausted getting the things I need to get done for my wife and getting things I need to get done for my kids. But I can't not get them done for them. I can't complain to them. They don't care. The bottom line is stuff's got to get done, and they're used to certain high level of performance, for lack of a better term. I don't mean it to sound that mechanical, that they're used to getting from me for all of this, for my children, all of their life, for my wife, for the 20 years we've been together, for the 17 and a half years we've been married, that none of them, in all fairness, let's be very clear about this, they can't flip a switch and just stop expecting that. And I would not expect them to. That would be ridiculous for me to expect them to. So yeah, I got to kill myself to keep that up. I'm tired. You know, so I'm mentally drained because I don't know how to explain this to anyone. And my doctors are wonderful, but I'm an anomaly. I'm a mystery. I'm an enigma. So when you're an enigma in a situation, that also means you're very, very much alone. And being a loner, while not new to me, it also means in this situation, I have no one to have I have no peer. I have no equal to have a conversation with. And sometimes when you're going through something, when you're alone, you just want to be listened to. You want to have a soft place to land. You don't want to be spoken at. You don't want to be given advice. You don't want to be pitied. You don't want to be told how bad it sucks. I don't need anybody to fucking tell me how shitty this situation I am. I don't need anybody to tell me how shitty this is. I know. I'm fighting to breathe with every single breath, every single second. I don't need you to tell me it must be difficult. I know. I don't need to be told how painful this must be. I fucking know. Combine that with the fact that then you want to flinch when you see me in person because at your base core, you still think you can catch some shit from me. And then tell me, well, I'm here for you if you need me. No, you're not. And then the other reason I left is that then I started to get, because this is, you know, well, ignore the fact that it's April in Kentucky and there's snow on the ground this morning, which my kids loved and that was cute to watch. And I loved watching their reactions to the snow. But I start getting friends that are training for races and people are like, hey, Corey, I'm losing motivation. I need some motivation because I'm having trouble running. I can't complete this run. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I get that that's what you're used to from me, but you're going to have to excuse me right now if I cannot seem to be your cheerleader right now as far as getting out to running when I'm having trouble taking a long shower when I shave my head, because when I get out, I'm sounding like I ran 6 wind sprints up hills because my O2s have dropped to 90% or lower. But yeah, I can be your Huckleberry. And I'm not saying this even from a selfish standpoint. I'm saying this because either whatever situation you're going through, you're me, where the world's still needing you, and you're like, give me a fucking break, or you have a loved one that's going through some deep shit, and you just stepped on their shoulders expecting them to lift you the fuck up and not realizing that they're suffering, and you ask them how they're doing and they just told you they're fine. And you don't realize that they just need a hug. They don't need you to sit, they don't even need you to ask them how they're doing. They just need you to physically walk in a room, not say anything, not do anything, but just give them a hug. And I guarantee you, for the first 10 seconds, they're going to fight you. Proverbially, not physically. If they physically fight you, you might want to let go. Seriously. But they're going to resist you. Resist is probably a better term. They're going to resist you because they're not used to it, and they're unsure, and they're going to be scared to be vulnerable and to open up because they have been holding so much on them. And they're not going to be sure to trust. And when those 10 seconds are up and they realize that you are still there, ouch, my hand. When they realize you are still there, that hug is real. It's not just a greet hug. It's not just a pat on the back hug. It's the real deal. They are going to melt in your arms and you're going to feel a legit connection. They're going to melt in your arms and they're going to thank you in a way that you're not even going to understand. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I mean when I end every podcast, when I say this in my social media. And I'll end this one by saying the same thing. Do better. Be better. One love. I'm out.